Okay, so this is the Earth Academy Prayer Book Hebrew, and we are going to continue with Chapter 6 and hopefully conclude Chapter 6. So in this class, we will do a brief survey of the vocabulary again, and then we will go to our prayer and our canting, and then I'll probably do just a little bit of review of some of the forms that we've been learning, and then we will go to the exercise and continue with our exercises. I understand that the exercises that I assigned last week were they're pretty intense. There was a lot of them, and I felt that this particular chapter was going to take us at least 3 sessions, and I would probably say the same for Chapter 7. I like to try to trim it down to 3 rather than extend it to 4 because I think that we don't want to lose the continuity, so to speak, as we continue through this material. But with that, let's open up our Chapter 6, and we will carry on. Okay, so let's go to our vocabulary. We're on page 41 of Prayer Book Hebrew, and we are looking over this vocabulary. We'll just do a brief review here, and let me get my annotate working here, if I can. All right, there we go. Okay, so we have Bayit, and I'll try to do a little better job than that. Okay, so Bayit for house, Batim for houses, and notice that it's masculine. So for the word for kindness or mercy, we have chesed, or if it's in a plural sense, hasadim. The word for day, yom, yamim for days. How about hayom, today, ma, meh, ma, again, we get what or how. Malchut for kingdom, and notice that's feminine, gender. Malkuyot for kingdoms. Olam for universe, world, eternity, notice that's masculine. Olamim, plural. Kind of like, I think I read in one of the letters of John, worlds without end. So that interesting. One of the translations has that. It uses olamim. Shem or shemot for name or names. Okay, so let's now continue on down to our canting, which are sections from the Prayer Book Hebrew. And let's see here. So we'll just go over this once more. And what we have here is Atah, Kadosh, V'Shimacha, Kadosh, Ukdoshim, Bekol Yom V'Halalucha, Selah, Baruch Atah Yahuwah, Ha'el HaKadosh. So some of the things we're keeping in mind here, of course, here Ukdoshim, it does have the kof, the dalet, and the sheen. So from the root kadosh means set apart, or in this case, they're translating the holy ones, and the holy ones. And so let's see what we have here. And this is how it's canted. Atah kadosh Vashimaka kadosh. Ukdoshim bekol yom v'halalucha Selah. Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. Okay? And so you are holy, and your name is holy, and the holy ones all the day praise you, Selah. You are holy, O Yah, the set-apart one, the holy Elohim, HaKadosh. Ha'el HaKadosh. Literally, it says the mighty, the set-apart. Okay, so let's go down here to the second one here, and it's very similar pattern. We have Ata Echad Vashimacha Echad Umi Keamcha Yisrael Goy Echad Ba'aretz. Okay, and so it has a similar tune. Ata Echad Vashimaka Echad Umi Keamcha Yisrael Goy Echad Ba'aretz. Okay, so you are one, and your name is one, and there is none like your people, Yisrael. A people unique. Literally, this says people echad ba'aretz. A people one, or they're translating this as unique, even though it's echad. It's interesting, and it may have that implication there. Okay, so let's go now to our chart and just do a quick review on the forms that we have been learning. And we are now on page 43. And notice we have a base form. For example, in this case, bait for house. But when we put the suffixes on, it transforms to this, or actually this is the base form, and then this base form is here, rather. And this is just a singular house. But if we were to put a possessive ending on it, it uses the base form and it adds the possessive ending. I think that's, I'll get it straight here in a minute. Okay, so in this case, we would say my house would be Beiti, okay? And then your house, which would be masculine singular, Beitecha. If we were to say your house feminine singular, Beitech, kind of like Baytech kind of. I'll move down here a little more. And to say his house, we get Beito. And notice we're looking at these black colored in letters here because those are the suffixes. Or her house, Beita. And notice in this case, notice the dagesh and the hey. That's how I associate with her. And I found that useful. So that is the possessive endings that we are learning in this case. Now, I did get two of you turned in assignments, and they're looking very good. But we're going to continue now. And some of these, I guess, they get progressively a little more difficult. But let's continue now. I believe we left off. Let me see if I can find it here. Right here, number 5. We left off with exercise number 5. So we are on Prayer Book Hebrew, page 48. We're going down to exercise number 5. Okay? So let's see what they have here for us tonight. So what they want us to do is translate the following sentences into Hebrew. When translated correctly, the boxed letters from each sentence will spell out a well-known Hebrew phrase. So the first one we have over here, Moses is a good father. Well, this is singular. Okay, so we're talking about a singular. So that's a clue right there. So the word for good, the adjective good, we're going to make singular. So I think we could put this, it's not going to be totally in order. This and this are going to be switched around. And you can see that between, if you look at the number of letters they give you. So let's see what we put in here. We can start with Moshe, right? Because that's the Hebrew word for Moses. Okay. And we put a sheen in there, which I guess is mixes with that there. It goes with the whole M. Moshe. All right. And then we want to now say father. So we're going to start with just your regular form of father. Av, right? And we put the vet on there. And so we have Moshe, Av. And then, so now we need to look for the masculine singular form of good. So that's just simply going to be Tov. Okay? Tov. And we throw our whole M there and put our vet. Give that vet a little tail. That'll help it out a little bit. Moshe of Tov. So we've got, what we're going to do here is, in our first box, we've got a sheen. Okay? So let's let me see here. Okay, so sheen. Okay. Now, our second one we have written, it is a holy blessing. So, what we are looking here, this is the indicator here, blessing. We know that blessing is feminine gender, right? So, we are going to then apply, of course, holy, which is the adjective, feminine, in a feminine gender form. What we're going to start out with now, remember, we're going to use a feminine word for it, which means she or it. So we're going to not use who, we're going to use he. And of course, these are the fillers here. So those are the ones we have to figure out here. So let's start out with the word for it or she. In this case is it because it's not exactly a person, it's a thing. So we're going to use he, okay, right? Eric, Yod. Well, it's kind of hard to get these written in here, but we'll do the best we can. He, and then now the word for, we're going to kind of reverse these two. Reverse them, remember. So literally it's going to say blessing set apart. So what the word for blessing is, okay, the ra cha. Okay, there we go. He bracha, and now we need to, this word here, holy, we need to make this in a singular feminine gender form. And if you remember, we start out with our kof, okay, and we put a dalet in there, and a holem, kado, and a sheen, right? And it's going to have the feminine ending. So we have kametz he ending. So what do we have? Oh, I put it in the wrong spot. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Somehow, let's get that eraser. I don't quite have a way to, okay, kadosh. We'll do that like this. Okay. Dalet, Vav, Dosha. That looks a little better. Okay, so so what do we have for our next one? We have bet. Okay, so now you see how this is beginning to form, and we're going to be reading straight down, it looks like. Okay, so his kingdom is great. So we know that kingdom is Malkut, right? And great is another one of our adjectives from the previous chapter. So we are looking at Gadol. And notice here is the pronoun here, or the possessive ending, his, rather. Possessive ending, his. And so if we go to our chart, we'll notice that that is a holem. So there's going to be a holem associated with this word great. So let's start out by putting the kingdom word in there. And it has to reflect his, possessive his. So it's got to have a holem at the end. So we're going to, instead of malkut, we've got to transform it to malkuto. So let's throw our mem in there. Okay. Okay, and lamed, a chaf, and we get the, now it's kind of tricky because what they're doing here is even the mother of reading, vav, which is a shurik, is counted as one. So we put that there because we got to get the u sound, malku, and then what goes in the box, we have a tav, malku, and then a mother of reading, which is the holem, malkuto. And so now, kingdom being feminine, we have to make it great, have a feminine ending. So we'll put our gemel on there. Okay. Put a dalet there. And a mother of reading, which is our holem. Gadol, a lamed. And remember, in a feminine singular sense, because we're talking about one kingdom and it's feminine gender, it's kametz hey. Okay? So, our next letter is tav. Okay. Now, let's go to my name is good, number 4. So we know that the word for name in Hebrew is shem, right? So we need to make it possessive of my, which is the Hirik Yod. And if you look on your chart, you'll see it's the Hirik Yod, my, whatever it is. In this case, it's name. So we take shem and we transform it to shemi. So we're going to start out with a sheen, right? Okay. I'll throw a shava under there. A mem. My mem is a little bit of a sad looking mem, but mem, hirik yod, shemi. And now remember, shame is masculine gender, so it's just going to be the normal word, the masculine singular sense of good. So we're just going to have tov in there. Okay. All right. So shemi, tov. So what is our next letter? We have a sheen. And it looks like this one's already shaping up to be Shabbat. These 3 letters down there. So that gives us a clue. Now let's go to number 5. We have Leah is my daughter. So we know that Leah is feminine. So then daughter, bought, and we have to make it have the possessive ending of my, which is E.A.R.T.H, yod, right? So we'll start out with the proper name Leah, which is Lamed. Okay, so Lamed, Sarai, Aleph, give it a Kametz, and a Hey, Leah, and the word, of course, for daughter, Bat, but it changes to the E.A.R.T.H yod ending, so it's got to have an E ending. And also we'll notice that there is a change in from the A sound to an E at this particular one, so we get BT. E.A.R.T.H. And then Tav, okay. Okay, so what's our next letter? It's going to be a Lamed. Okay, looks like it's getting, I think I can guess it, but I'm not going to give it away till we get to the end. I think I know what they're spelling out here. All right, so his Torah is holy. We're on number 6 now. So we know that Torah is feminine, right? Kind of like that book that Batya Wooten wrote, Mama's Torah. Torah has a feminine gender to it. It's interesting. We know that mothers are the parent that does the formative learning at the very beginning with children. And so then, of course, even in Jewish culture, when a child reaches a certain age, then the father would take over, particularly with the sons. So let's go to what we have here. So Torah, we have, let's see here, Tav, okay, mother reading Holem, Resh, Kametz, and notice in this case, because we are making this his, the hey drops off and it becomes a Tav. So this is how we get Torah, right? And then to make it sound as with the possessive his, it's going to be the Holem. Torah, to. His Torah is what? Is set apart. So it's going to be a form of kadosh, but what gender is Torah? It's feminine. So we have to make the word holy, which is kadosh, to be feminine and singular. Or rather, feminine and singular, because we're talking about the object is Torah. The object is Torah. That's what's being talked about. Torah is feminine. So that's why holy has to be feminine. It's confusing because someone might look at that and say, well, wait a minute, we're talking about his Torah. Doesn't that mean we're talking about his? No, in this case, what is the object that's being talked about? Torah. So connect Torah, which is feminine, with the proper form for kadosh. So what is that going to be then? It's going to be kadosha. Okay. Okay, there is our kof, our dalet, and we have our mother reading holem and our sheen. Okay, right? And we have to give it the comments, hey, ending to reflect femininity and singularity. So we have hatorotot kadosha. His Torah is holy. So what do we have here? We have the mother reading vav, which is a holem. Okay. Now, and I think you might be able to guess it by now, but we'll see. So my son is Abraham. So we know that the word for son is Bain. And Avraham, proper noun. We need to make it possess. The possessive ending is going to be my, which is E.A.R.T.H yod. And so we want son to reflect that possessive, my son. So we're going to take the Hebrew word bain, which means son, and make it say my son. So we're going to transform Bain to, okay, Beni. Yurik, Yod, Beni. And then now Avraham then does not change because that's a proper noun. So let's just put Avraham in there. And what is our last letter? Mem Sophit. So let's put our Mem Sophit on there. And what do we get? If we put a little line through here, that separates the two words. We get Shin, Bet, Tav, Shabbat. And look at this. Shin, Lamed, Holem, Mem Sophit, Shalom. So that's a familiar phrase that we hear at Shabbat, isn't it? So that is how that should be done. I did not want to assign any of those to you guys because it kind of breaks up the flow. This is kind of a puzzle, so I figured I'd just do this one for us all here. Okay. Let's move on down to number 6. Okay, so now when we get through the book, this particular exercise, you will see this continually now in every chapter. And it is the more dense exercise because they're wanting you to take all of these different words, and it's changing a lot of things. So let's see what we have here. And also, one thing we can keep in mind is that when we look at these exercises, it is very useful to, what I would do is I would put a bookmark in all of your charts so that you could just flip back quickly and then go back to your exercises. That's what I used to have to do in order to keep track of everything. Otherwise, you're spending a lot of time flipping through pages, trying to find charts. So that's just a tip that I can give to you. So before we start this, let's see if there's any, I don't know if we have any comments or not. Let's see, questions, comments, anything. Okay. All right, let's carry on here. Share screen, there we go. So what we have here in the first example, let me see if I can get a color that'll work for us. There we go. Okay, so rewrite the sentences below, replacing the underlined word with each word that follows. Make the necessary changes in the rest of the sentence. Read aloud and translate. So here's our example. He bat tova. She is a good daughter, okay? So then what they're saying here is they're going to give you this one that's going to change the underlined part. We're going to change it to Bain, so it changes from daughter to son. So now things are not going to be feminine anymore. It's going to change to masculine. So of course he has to change to who. Of course, Bain is given for us, and then instead of tova, we have just the singular masculine form of tov. So that's what they're doing. Okay. So let's look here. Number 1, we have atem, you all, and it's masculine. Banim, baruchim, you all are blessed sons. Okay. Now, what they want us to do here with aleph is we're going to change the underlined one here and make it ha-banim. Okay, so this gets changed. We X that out, and this is what the next word is, ha-banim. So what we have here is, now the atem is not going to change because we're still talking about you all reflective of masculinity and plurality, aren't we? And since we're talking about habanim, we're talking about sons, so that part's not going to change. But notice what they've done here. They've added the definite article on here. So the ha is on here. So that is going to change something here. And what is going to happen is literally it's going to go from you are blessed sons to you are the blessed sons. And we're going to have to add a ha on the barokim. Thankfully, at least this time, we don't have to change the barokim, but we do have to add a hey. Okay, so underneath that is just your patach. So what is that going to look like? Ha. Hirik, Yod, Mem Sofit. Okay, so that's what that's going to be. We're going to add the ha on to this one here. Okay, so what is that saying now? You are the blessed sons. You are the blessed sons. Okay, because we've got our definite article on there now. Okay, so now let's go to bet. Okay, which in this case is vet, but so we have ha ba note. Okay, so now we are switching a little bit here. No longer is it plurality masculinity. Now, notice because we have the holem tav plural ending, and notice the bet, and this changes. This noon changes. Really, it should be in the single form. It's bat. That's the word for daughter. So, but we know from our vocabulary that this is daughters, and it's not just daughters. It's the daughters. So that's what vet is. The daughters. So now a tem, right now a tem reflects masculinity and plurality, but we need to change that. We need to make that reflect femininity and plurality, don't we? So all we're going to do is we're going to get rid of that, and we're going to put nearly the same thing. It's nearly the same thing, except the last signal letter is different. And it's going to be a nun sofit, a 10. Okay, a 10. So then, of course, this is, we're not looking at that. We're looking at this now, habanot. And now what happens with this here? Oh, boy. Well, right now, it reflects masculinity and plurality. We need to make it reflect now on the daughters. So it still has plurality, but it's got to reflect femininity for the word blessed. Okay? So, and notice it has to also include what the noun includes, which is the definite article. So let's throw our habanot so we can put the flow here. Okay. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. This right here is going to change to, we got to put the ha in there because we got to match this here. The habanot. We have to put the ha on the bracha. So what is that going to look like? We've got ha. Okay. We've got a shurik, baruch. And then we have, simply we just changed the suffix to a feminine plural ending. Ha barokot. So we have a 10, habanot, habrachot. And so what does that say? You are the blessed daughter. So when we see this ha there next to daughters, that forces the ha to be on the adjective. Okay, so it has to match in that way too. Okay, so let's look at Gemel now. Bat. So now what's happening is a lot of things are going to change here. We're losing our plurality, the word aten or atem has to change because with just one female, we can't say you all anymore. We have to change that to you, singular feminine. And so, so this is what we're looking at now, and let's get rid of that. This one goes up here now. Okay, so now atem has to change, doesn't it? We need to make this say simply you, but in the feminine singular form. Okay, so what do we get? Oh, went the wrong way with that one. So we are going to have simply ot, right? Ot. There it is, ot. Now we're saying you, okay, and we put our bot there. Okay, you, daughter, literally it's saying this. And we want to say blessed, but we lose the plurality now because we're just talking about one daughter. We're going to take the masculine singular Baruch form and turn it into Barucha, right? Because it's got the feminine aspect to it now because we're talking about a daughter. And so we have Chaf, Kametz, Hey. Okay, so At, Bat, Barucha. So what is that saying? Simply, you are a blessed daughter. You are a blessed daughter. That's Gemil. You are a blessed daughter. After we make all those changes, every single, those two words, both of them changed when that one word changed. Isn't that something? Okay? Now, let's look at Dalet. So we have Ha-Bat now. Well, we got most of this already. The only thing we have to add with this, because this is very similar to the last one, but instead of just you are a daughter, we need to say you are the daughter. And because we have the definite article on Bat, we have to add that to this one too, except in the feminine singular form. So how's that going to look? Well, we're going to start out with At, just like we did before, because the you doesn't, that's not affected by adding a definite article to daughter. So, so then we just put our regular you feminine singular, okay, At, okay, you feminine singular, and of course we're getting rid of that. And we're putting Ha-Bat in there now. That's what is going to go in the underlined part, right? Okay, so there's Ha-Bat. Now, what do we do about this Baruchim that's there right now? We got to change that. That's got to be totally changed. And before it was Baracha, but we now need to make it say, let me see here, Dalet. Yeah, Ha-Baracha. Yeah, that's right. So, because we've got the definite article on there. So let's put our Baracha there. Baruch Ha. Okay, Kametz, Hey, ending. And so this is what we added this time, what we didn't have last time. We added the definite article because the definite article was added on daughter. Okay, so what does that say? At, Ha-Bat, Ha-Barucha, you are the blessed daughter. Okay, so that is Dalet. Let's go to Hey now. And what do they want us to do? They want us to put Ha-Bain. That says the son. So we get rid of that and we put Ha-Bain in there. So what's going to happen to this word? Right now it says you all, masculine plural. Well, if we're only talking about one son and the son, it can't be you all. There's no plurality there. So it's got to say you, masculine singular. So what is the you, masculine singular? If you, feminine singular is at, you, masculine singular is ata. So this is going all the way back to chapter 1, isn't it? See how they're stringing all these concepts together? Okay, so there's ata, so that's what we need to put there in place of atem. Get rid of that. And we put ha bain. We'll throw our nun safid on there. Ha bang. So you, literally it says you, the son, and we need to, this barokim right here, we can't use that anymore. We can't use plural, but we can use the masculine form of it, and it has to match the definite article on habang. So what is that going to look like? We're going to add our definite article so that it matches, right? And we're simply going to use the regular masculine singular form of, and it's going to be Baruch. Sofit with a Shabbat. So we have Ata, Habain, Habaruch. You are the blessed son. Okay, you are the blessed son. That is Hey. Okay, so you guys see how these are done. And it gets pretty, I tell you what, by the time you do these exercises, you're definitely going to have a pretty good idea what's going on in this chapter, because it's like all these different parts are changing. All right, so let's see here what we have. Let's go to number 2 now, okay? So all of that's done. So what do we have? We have Hayom Kadosh V'Tov. What we have here is today is set apart and good. Hayom Kadosh V'Tov. Today is set apart and good. So what are we going to do now? We're going to change this one. The underlined one is the one that gets changed. So for Aleph, instead of Hayom, we're going to change this to Ima. Wow, look at that. So that is one of our possessive endings. I recognize it right away. Kametz Hey with the dagesh in it is her something. And so with the Aleph and Mem, it's mother, isn't it? Mother. Okay? So, literally, we're putting her mother in where Hayom is. So that we get rid of that. And let's start out with Ima. Okay, there's Ima, her mother. And so now, Kadosh, right now, Kadosh, meaning set apart, is masculine. It's in its regular form, masculine singular form. We need to make it reflect femininity and singularity, right? And also we have to do the same for Tov, right? Right now they're in masculine singular form. We need to make them change to feminine singular form. So what we're going to do here is we're going to change Kadosh we'll put the Kadosh part on there first. And so what changes? We have Kametz Hey to reflect femininity and singularity. Ima Kadosha, and we need to also include the Tov because these are descriptive of her mother. Her mother is set apart, but she's also good. So her mother is set apart and good. So the Vatov right here, it's got to be changed too. So we'll add our connecting Vav on there. Okay, Vatov. And we have to change Vatov to what? To reflect femininity and singularity. So we'll put our vet, and so what are we doing? We're going to do the same thing, the same form that we put on the Kadosha. Vatova. So what does that say? Her mother is set apart and good. So look at all those things that changed. That changed. That changed when that got changed. Isn't that something? All right. Let's see. We've got 10 more minutes here. Let's just move along here a little more. We're on vet now, and we have ha, ya, meme. So, now this is kind of an interesting one. The yamim is the plural form of yom, right? And so what we're going to do here with this definite article, the, and yom is day, so we have the days, right? So that's how that should be. And that's going to replace this here. Ha-yom goes away, and we get ha-yamim. Okay, so let's put that there. If I can get my yod looking a little better here. Okay, so there we go. The days, ha-yomim. So kadosh right now is in its singular masculine sense. We need to make it plural. And notice that we have the definite article on days. The days. Okay, so we have to make kadosh reflect plurality. And so what do we do with that? When we go to our plural chapter, we just add the hirik, yod, mem, sofit ending. So we start out with kadosh, however, and we just add that on there. Okay. Okay. And we put the ending now. Hirik, yod, mem, sofit. Kadoshim. Hayamim, kadoshim. So now we also need to do the same thing to Vatov right here. Vatov has got to change and reflect masculinity and plurality. So it's going to be the Tovim, right? Hirik, yod, mem, sofit reflects masculine plurality. That pattern right there. So we have Hayamim, Kadoshim, Tovim. So the days are set apart and good. The days are set apart and good. Everything now matches correctly, I believe. I think we've got that right. Let's hope. All right, so let's go to Gemel. So what we have here is Ha-Malchuyot. So if we just separate this right here, we've got Malchuyot, Melech, Lamed, Chaf, Tav. Malkut is kingdom, so Yot ending reflects plurality, so kingdoms. And with the Ha, the kingdoms, that's what we're saying. So we got to get rid of Hayom, and we have to change it to the kingdoms. But notice that kingdom is feminine, right? Kingdom is feminine. So, and of course, it's reflected here in the Holem Tav, the kingdoms. So, of course, this now has to change. Kados has to change, and Tov has to change to reflect femininity and plurality, right? So it's going to change from masculine to feminine, and it's going to go from singular to plural. So let's throw this in here. Mal. Ku. We'll throw a yod on there. My yods are not doing very good tonight, are they? Malkuyot. Malkuyot. So the kingdoms, we wanted to say, are set apart and holy, or tov, rather. Set apart and good. So kadosh has to change to reflect plurality and femininity. So what do we get? We get kadoshot. Kadoshot. And all we do to add the femininity and plurality is the Holem Tav ending. Kadoshot, and then Va, we add the connecting Vav. We need Tov. Right now, we're working on this one. Vatov now has to reflect femininity, plurality, and it's going to sound the same. Vatovot. Okay, so we have our tet, our vav, and we just throw a holem tav ending on there too. So now it all matches. Ot, ot, ot. So hamelachiot, kadoshot, vatovot. All right. So what is that saying? The kingdoms are set apart and good. All right. So that finishes that one. Let's finish now with Dalet. And what do we have here? We have Avicha. Avicha. So notice the pattern here. This is what you need to look at. Oops, I did the wrong one here. Get rid of that. I need an eraser. Anyway, there we go. Okay, so Avicha. So notice the pattern here. Okay, so in this case, if we look at our chart, this is a form of your possession, your possession. And Av, of course, transforms into this Avicha, we get your father, right? So now what needs to happen is, and it looks like this one's not going to change a whole lot. It doesn't look like it to me, at least immediately. I think all we're going to do is get rid of this and put this where that should go, right there. So we get Avicha, and this stays the same, doesn't it? Because we're talking about your father. That's one guy, singular, and it's masculine. Look, already the Kadosh is in its masculine singular sense, and so is the Tov. So guess what? That one's kind of easy. You don't have to change anything else in there. That's kind of a trick question. They were trying to get you tripped up there, but nothing changes. So it's just Avicha, Kadosh, Vatov. And so what is that saying? Your father is set apart and good. All right. A lot of changes here that we have to keep track of. A lot of principles that are starting to build on each other. All right. So let's see what our time is here. We are getting near the end. So I tell you what, this is such a big exercise and we finished with 1 and we finished with 2. I did those for you. So I am only going to assign, 3, 4, 5, and 6, because that is enough. Trust me, there's a lot there. 3, 4, 5, and 6 on exercise 6. Okay. Let's pull up our assignments. Okay. Six. Three, 4, 5, and 6. Or I guess we could do this a little better. Just go 3 through 6. How about that? Okay. So that's all that I expect you guys to do for this week. And remember that you guys should be seeing this. I hope everyone's seeing this this page, because I cut the other one out. So chapter 6, and in chapter 6, exercise 6, number 3 through 6, and there's like 4 or 5 for each one, so that is plenty, like I say. So let's bring that down. Okay, and if you guys remember, the E.A.R.T.H boot camp is coming up this next weekend. We're not going to have class, and I will probably decide whether or not to have class the following weekend. We'll see. Usually I'm pretty floored by the time I, get through with an event like that. I just need a little downtime. But anyway, do we have any comments or questions tonight before we close out?
I think it's wise that we are only doing these 2 sentences, because that was a lot, and I will need to go through my flashcards so I don't have to go back and look up so many things. It's like I do recognize that, okay, that needs to be feminine or that needs to be plural or whatever, but they're not all in my head.
Right, right. And so this is one of the reasons why we record these things. And so just remember, charts are critical. Having your charts, knowing where they're at, refer to the forms. And remember that when we have a definite article, the definite article gets added to the descriptive word as well. That's a rule that sometimes students miss. And so I think we're doing pretty well. And remember, hey, it's not a bad thing, because I'm going to do this class again. When I start the second section, I'm going to have a parallel, and it's going to be all new videos. And I'm not going to rely just on this series of videos. It's going to be done. I'll be doing 2 classes in a week, and I'm going to talk to Dr. Snyder about it. And we're going to do 1 through 7 again, but with different. It's just totally different exercise and everything, so that the new students that want to take 1 through 7 again, or those who have fallen off the first time around, we can recover them if they want to do it again. And we'll do it all over again in live, and everything will be recorded, because I wanted to get all of this on my YouTube now, which is not public, by the way. I send only the students out the links. But every time a class is done, you get a link and an email. But anyway, it's been a pleasure having you all, and hopefully I'll see some of you at boot camp. If not, Yahweh bless you, and we hopefully will see you the next time we have this class, and I will send out a notice, of course. So, shalom, shalom, everyone.